This is Micah 2:10. Oh yeah, you Israelites out there, man, you gotta for those of you who do know the Lord and you still hanging on to your foolish ways, you gotta step out of the philosophies of Babylon. America is nothing but confusion. It'll literally destroy you. It'll kill you, mind, body, and spirit. This is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right, this is not our rest. Ain't no time for us to be lollygagging and sleeping around and going partying and having all types of supposedly fun, which the Lord in the scriptures call folly. That's folly what y'all doing. Kicking it, laying back, and living the good life. That's not what this is about. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. Right? It shall destroy you. The philosophies of this world will destroy you because you follow after these philosophies. No, I'm an African. I'm Egyptian. I'm a Nubian. I'm a Pentecostal. I'm from Seventh Day Adventist. I'm Second Baptist. I'm Catholic. I'm Christian. I'm an atheist. All that's gonna get you destroyed by thermonuclear missiles that Iran and various other countries are gonna shoot on this so-called country, which is not even a country, it's a corporation. That's why you have the New York Stock Exchange. Which, what do you think they sold on the New York Stock Exchange before they sold supposedly money in stocks and bonds? Slaves. The Hebrew Israelites, the so-called black man, the so-called Native American Indian man, the so-called Latin man in America was traded on the auction blocks, and they called that the stock. They called that the stock exchange. So what was they exchanging? Yo ass. That's what they exchanged. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. And that sword destruction is going to be the nuclear missiles and other various prophecies. You still got the race riots that's supposed to that's you still got the race riots that's gonna happen. You got pestilence, which is disease. You got martial law. All these things that the so-called United States government has set up for you will destroy you. Right down to the last prophecy in the scriptures. And you Israelites, you wonder why you always in and out of jail. You always sick. Can't seem to do this right. Life ain't going good for you. You always down. And you have no explanation for it. You never think to look to the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, as the source of your problems. Because you the source of your problems. He just carrying out the act of being a parent and whooping your ass for it. That's the definition of insanity. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and thinking that you're gonna get a different outcome out of it every time. So you wonder why every time you go to church, every time you go to church, you fall out and you have to go to the hospital. But you never stop to think that, oh, well, maybe if I stop going to church, maybe I'll stop falling out and having health problems and having migraines and tumors. But no, you don't stop to think that. All you do is stop to think is, okay, Lord, maybe if I keep going to church and worshiping you and doing what you supposedly said, maybe this will stop. But you don't do no research and ask and research and actually study on what you worship. And that's the reason why your ass is fucked up in the hospitals. That's why you fucked up in the prison system. That's why you fucked up and can't grow your own food. That's why your businesses don't grow. That's why you have no businesses. That's why every time you work, you always got an eviction notice on your door. Even though you work every day and have a $14 an hour job, because the funds that you make are not efficient enough, because there's a curse on you for not following the Lord. This is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. Right, you caught in traps. The welfare system is a trap. The child support system is a trap. The school system is a trap. Especially the school system. The school system is a trap because they don't teach you anything. Not a goddamn thing. Not a damn thing. Everything that school teach you is man-made doctrine. You being indoctrinated to think what they want you to think and think how they want you to think. Read what they want you to read and research what they want you to research. They don't want you to know the truth, so they teach you lies. And they teach you more lies. Yeah, sure, they'll mix some truth in there. They'll tell you about a couple of empires in history, but they're not gonna tell you that your black ass was a slave in that empire. They're not gonna tell you that. They'll talk about the transatlantic slave trade, and they'll talk about Columbus going over to Puerto Rico and slaughtering and killing Ephraim, but they're not gonna tell you that. They're not gonna tell you, but that they still doing it today. They're not gonna tell you that you was a slave in the Colosseums back in the Roman times. They're not gonna tell you. They'll tell you that Columbus slaughtered thousands of Taino Boricua Indians, but they're not gonna tell you exactly what he did to them. They're not gonna tell you that he cut open the women's stomachs at childbirth. They're not gonna tell you that they hung the men and women over the trees and cut their heads off and hung them over the mountains. They're not gonna tell you that they fed the babies to crocodiles. They're not gonna tell you that they used to play games called spot and shoot, where they would get off their horse and they'll see a little Israelite baby running, and they'll see how many shots they can kill. They can pinpoint accuracy, shoot and kill the baby with. They're not gonna tell you none of that. They're not gonna tell you that they used to hang the so-called black man up by his arms and by his ribs, called stress positions. They're not gonna tell you that they created so-called dildos by castrating the so-called black man as a slave, and freezing his genitals. They're not gonna tell you none of this. They're not gonna tell you that they followed up on eugenics programs. They're not gonna tell you none of the true history that went on. But they'll tell you some bullshit about who founded America. You don't think that's strange? Of course you don't. They are all of them snared in holes. And they are hid in prison houses. Right, hid in prison houses. What do you think the Jim Crow laws are for? What do you think the new laws that they got out, the NDAA, Indefinite Detention Act. They got the Resource Preparedness Act. They got the HR 347 No Protest Bill. Why? Because everything that's happening in this country, which is mostly bad, if you're against it, you're gonna be thrown into prison houses, in the jail, and that's another thing you people don't realize. Israelites, the black, Latin, Native American men are the most incarcerated in the world, not just this country, in the world. And why do you think that is? Because y'all won't follow the law, statutes, commandments, and y'all still think this is y'all heaven? Fuck out of here. They are for prey and none delivered. Right, y'all fucking shark bait for these white people, for these other nations. They look at you as a joke. All they do is they'll come. A Chinese man will come in your neighborhood and leech off of you and your family, and put in a gas station or a corner store and be there for decades, living off of you. But your people ain't got no store in their neighborhood, and y'all live there. And none deliver, for a spoil, and none saith restore. Right, white man giving you all these benefits. He not helping you prosper in this world. Not at all. He doing everything he can to keep you down. But you Israelites still keep running back to the white man. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Right. Y'all hearkening to them colleges and them philosophies. Who's actually gonna listen to the Lord? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Nobody. Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned? And y'all don't understand. Y'all ask the same questions over and over in y'all head. Why is this happening? Why did this happen? What's wrong? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? Why am I doing this wrong? How come this never works for me? You never actually think that to put the Lord in the equation, that the Lord is actually doing this to you. Y'all think that the Lord is all about love and peace and harmony. What are you people, retarded? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Right, we weren't obedient unto the Lord's law. We didn't follow his law, statutes, commandments, and that's why we're in the predicament we are in today. In slavery. Babylon the Great. America. This is Psalms chapter 106, verse 43. Psalms 106, verse 43. Many times did he deliver them, but they provoked him with their counsel, and were brought low for their iniquity. Right. You see how the so-called Black, Latin, and Native American men are the lowest on the totem pole? We used to be the highest. We're the lowest people. We're royalty. So what are we doing on the bottom? Unless we had to do something wrong. The Lord put the top people on the planet on the bottom, and put the basest level people on the planet and put them at the top. That's totally backwards. You don't think there's nothing wrong with that? That's totally backwards. Why? Because we transgressed the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Shah himself, the creator of the earth and the heavens, and he put us at this low state. That's why we're hated above every nation on the planet Earth. The black man is the most hated. Nobody likes black men. Nobody likes the so-called black man, black woman, Latino man, Latino woman, or Native American woman. I mean, you have to remember that this is our slavery, man. The Lord said this is our punishment if we didn't follow the law, statutes, commandments. You have to remember that no matter how much time goes on, we still in slavery. We still enslaved. And the signs are all around us. And this is the last scripture. This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. We are yet this day in our captivity. In 2012, what day is it? November 1st? November 1st, 2012. We are still in our captivity. We are still in slavery. No matter how this white man tries to disguise it, no matter how many government programs he sets up, no matter how much education he claims that he can give you, no matter if you got how wealthy you are, you got a house, you got kids, you got a car, you got good so-called good life here, we are still in our captivity. Why? Because the Yahweh Shai, who you so-called ignorantly called Jesus Christ, hasn't come back yet. We are still enslaved until he comes back. That's one thing you got to realize, and you constantly got to keep in your mind. Where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. You being here in America is a curse, like I said before. And to be subject to payments. Ooh, that's your bills. That's your bills. Everything. That's feudalism. The definition of feudalism is payments, fees. Everything has a fee on it. You have to pay to get on the highway. You gotta pay to park. You gotta pay to when you send your kids to secondary school, you gotta pay to send them to school. You gotta pay to go to work. And you the one that's making these businesses all the money. When you go to work and you get your paycheck, you see there's money docked from your paycheck. They take taxes out of your paycheck. How do they take taxes out of something that you earned? That doesn't make any sense. You gotta pay a property tax if you so-called own your house. You gotta pay a fee for anything that you do. If you littering, you ain't got your seatbelt on, jaywalking, you have to pay a fee for everything, subject to payments. According to all the iniquities of our fathers which departed from the Lord our power. And the iniquities of our fathers was not following after the Lord's statutes and commandments. So you have to realize that for transgressing our father, our parent, we're in slavery and we're in punishment right now. And with that, I'm going to say all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honor to the elders, and shalom.